Welcome to the Common Man Football Show. My name is James Coburn, and today's episode, we're talking about the 2018 NFL Scouting Combine, specifically running back analytics. This video essentially is going to get into all of the data at the Combine as it pertains to running backs. So we're going to be talking about arm length, hand size, the bench press, and then we're also going to be talking about a couple metrics here and there that you might not be as familiar with if you're new to the work that I do. All terms and definitions are going to be in the description though, so if you are not familiar with explosive lower body strength score, speed score, or flexibility score, slash balance score, which is kind of what that kind of measures, is the ability of a running back to remain on their feet fluidly, is essentially what those drills measure. Then you can just go to the description, get information there, and I will do my best to kind of explain what those scores, or what pertains to those scores as I go through it. But if you're kind of lost at any point, just go to the description and all the terms and definitions will be there. So first off, we're just going to go through all the running backs at the Combine. This is the sheet right here. So you can like pause the video right now and look at this sheet to give you an idea of how different players performed based on the data. DNP designates did not participate. Some of these guys definitely did certain drills, like some of them maybe did a short shuttle but didn't do the 3-cone, some of them did a 3-cone but didn't do a short shuttle, etc. So when it comes to these various sort of data points, if they didn't give enough information, or at least if they didn't participate in enough events in order to make those scores, then it just was a DNP. Or like if they didn't do the bench press, then it's just a DNP, did not participate, just so you guys are familiar with that. So first off, the player that we're going to talk about is Wadley. Wadley did not do that well at the Combine for multiple different reasons. One, arm length, that 29.5-inch arm length. Arm length is not the go-to data point when it comes to running back data. There have definitely been different running backs over time, like Doug Martin is probably an example of a guy who had less than 31-inch arm length to be successful. Chris Johnson's another one of those guys. Devontae Freeman, right, is another one of those guys. However, since the 1999 NFL draft class, there's only been one running back to have less than 31-inch arm length to be a multiple Pro Bowl running back in Chris Johnson. So arm length in some ways is kind of a high quality running back indicator. You could do with it as you want. Again, you can find a couple success stories with guys that have less than 31-inch arm length. Mark Ingram is another guy who's kind of like that. But I'm just pointing it out as that is one of those data points that I don't have a great grasp onto why the correlation is there, but just that there is a correlation that's there in terms of the higher concentrations of high quality running backs are typically on the 31-inch or higher scale versus the sub 31-inch scale. So Wadley is one of those guys that based on his arm length, 29.5, just not really getting done. On top of that, his hand size of 8.25. Based on my data since the 1999 NFL draft class, pretty much 100% of multiple All-Pro and Pro Bowl running backs had at least 8 7/8-inch hand size. The only back to not have to have less than 8 7/8-inch hand size was Clinton Portis. Clinton Portis was the only back to have less than 8 7/8-inch hand size and go on to become a Pro Bowl running back. So Wadley basically fails two big sort of measurements when it comes to arm length, hand size, and then the bench press. Only had 12 reps on the bench press. Based on my data again, the cutoff for current players when it comes to the bench press at running back, at least in terms of long-term starters, is about 15 reps. Is around where you need to be when it comes to running backs. And there definitely is some correlations to getting a little bit higher when it comes to the bench press for various running backs. But I would say 15 reps is just the minimum for at least long-term starting running backs at the NFL level. And Wadley only got 12 reps there, which is not the best. And then, of course, when you get to his explosive lower body strength score, explosive lower body strength score is essentially takes the vertical and the broad jump plus mass density, and it basically gives you an idea of how explosive they are for their size. Wadley had a 5.59 out of 100, which is not that good. It's very below average. And then, of course, when you get to his speed score, which is the 40-yard dash measured against mass density, you only have a 27.01 speed score, which is also very below average. When it comes to the running back position, you want to have at least one 79 or higher athleticism trait. Every single multiple All-Pro / Pro Bowl running back since the 1999 NFL draft class had at least one athleticism trait, whether it was explosiveness, speed, or dynamic speed, to end up with All-Pro, Pro Bowl outcomes. So Wadley doesn't have any All-Pro / Pro Bowl potential athleticism traits. On top of the arm length, the hand size, and the bench press, there's just not a lot here to say very, very good things about Akrum Wadley. He did not have the best combine performance at all. Now, maybe his balance testing is better. I think probably. I mean, he's a guy on film who does show a lot of balance. Very flexible kind of player, if you will. But just not really getting it done for whatever reason. So Wadley did not have the best combine from that kind of perspective. And then, of course, we get to Bo Scarborough from Alabama. Had a 33 and 5-inch arm length, 10 hands. Bench was 14. Again, the cutoff is about 15. Not going to make the biggest deal out of this ever. However, he didn't hit the threshold. That's the basics when it comes to him. Explosive lower body strength score had a 97.70 out of 100, which is a All-Pro / Pro Bowl potential athleticism trait, and then also had a 79.07 speed score. Did not participate in all of the agility testing in order to determine his balance score. But Scarborough did not have that bad of a day. There was a lot of people going into the combine that thought that Scarborough was going to run like 4.65 and not really test that well. In many ways, Scarborough tested very similar to Derrick Henry. All the way down to the bench press, because Derrick Henry didn't exactly do the best in the bench press either when he was coming out of Alabama at the combine. So Scarborough had a fairly decent day. The bench press is worrisome, but everything else does look pretty good for him. And then, of course, we get to Chase Edmunds from Fordham. Had 31 and 1/8 inch arm length, 9 hands, 19 bench. Had 52.90 explosive lower body strength score, 51.75 speed score, and 90.38 in terms of his dynamic speed score. And to explain the dynamic speed score, you essentially take the short shuttle plus the 3-cone plus the 40-yard dash and you divide it against mass density. And what you're essentially trying to figure out is how balanced they are. The short shuttle and the 3-cone drills essentially are trying to figure out how much core strength you have and balance you have. So a lot of times when running backs perform really well in these agility testings, they usually have pretty good balance. They're usually pretty good at maintaining their feet, not falling down after contact, etc. Or at least being able to kind of dip their hips and put their body into different positions and still remain on their feet. So Edmunds did pretty well in terms of that flexibility score, which is also a All-Pro / Pro Bowl potential athleticism score. So again, good day for him. Pretty much tests like a potential All-Pro / Pro Bowl running back. Potential, but there you go. Then of course you get to Chris Warren from Texas. Had 33 and 3/4 arm length, 9 1/4 hand size, 25 bench, 88.72 explosive lower body strength score, 63.09 speed score, and 94 flexibility or balance score, dynamic speed score. Warren, as you can clearly see, passed pretty much every single test. He's another running back who has All-Pro / Pro Bowl potential just based on his athleticism traits. Then, of course, we get to Darryl Williams from LSU. Had a 31-inch arm length, 9 and 9.375 in terms of hand size, which is about 3/8. 22 bench, 36.69 explosive lower body strength score, 24.85 speed score, and did not participate in any of the agility testings. Or at the very least, he did not do like the 3-cone and stuff like that. Not the best day testing wise for him in terms of his athleticism traits. Same thing goes with Demario Richard from Arizona State. Did not pass the arm length threshold, did not pass the bench threshold, and both his explosive lower body strength score and speed score were below average, and also did not participate in all of the agility testing in order to give a score right there. Then, of course, you get to Darius Geis from LSU, probably a big draft Twitter fan type of running back, a guy that many people consider to be either the #1 running back in the draft class or the #2 running back in the draft class, depending on who you talk to. And his day was honestly very similar to Leonard Fournette. Now, arm length-wise, had 30 3/4 inch arm length. As I told you before, arm length is not the biggest end-all be-all when it comes to the running back position, but the majority of running backs typically have 31-inch arm length, and again, the majority of multiple Pro Bowl / All-Pro running backs typically have 31-inch or higher arm length. So it's a minor concern, but it definitely is somewhat of a flag just because of what the overall data says. Then, of course, you get to 9 hand size, 15 bench, so you basically met the minimum bench. His explosive lower body strength score was 46.33, but he did have a 92.16 speed score, which is very, 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 very good. Very good speed score. All Pro / Pro Bowl potential just based on speed score alone. So if you're one of those guys that really believes that Darius Geis has a chance to be an All Pro / Pro Bowl running back, he did hit at least one All Pro / Pro Bowl athleticism trait at the combine in terms of his speed score. And he did not participate in the agility testing. Then, of course, you get to Dimitri Flowers, who's more of a fullback. So I'm really not going to get into much of his testing, but he didn't really test like an All-Pro / Pro Bowl potential running back anyways. Then, of course, we get to Jarvion Franklin from Western Michigan. Had 31 1/4 arm length, 9 1/4 hand size, 18 bench, 57.17 explosive lower body strength score, 80.20 speed score, and 94.63 dynamic speed score. Based on this data, he pretty much has all Pro / Pro Bowl potential athleticism traits and pretty much hits all the minimum thresholds for arm length, hand size, bench press, etc. Then, of course, we get to Jeffrey Wilson. This will be kind of short. He did not participate in any of the athleticism testing. And on top of that, but he did pass most of the basics in terms of arm length, hand size, and bench press. So not really much to worry about other than the fact he didn't participate in any of the other drills. Then we get to John Kelly out of Tennessee. Had 31 3/8 inch arm length, 9 3/8 inch hand size, 15 bench, 71.74 in terms of his explosive lower body strength score, and did not participate in the speed score. Did agility testing, but because he didn't do a 40-yard dash, that is one of the data points that is necessary in order to do the dynamic speed score is the 40-yard dash. And because he didn't do the 40-yard dash, I can't really do much with in terms of all that other sort of data. However, he didn't really do the best in terms of agility testing. Just anecdotally looking at his data, didn't look the best. John Kelly essentially had a uneven combine. He definitely put up an above-average explosive lower body strength score, but there's nothing indicating a multiple All-Pro / Pro Bowl running back in terms of his athleticism testing, at least not yet. And of course, you get to Jordan Wilkins from Ole Miss. He did not meet the arm length threshold of 31 inch, which again is more of a minor concern. He did hit the hand size threshold. He did hit the bench threshold. He had a 55.75 explosive lower body strength score and 11.65 speed score. Did not participate in all the agility testing that he needed to do. Pretty much did okay. Didn't do the best. Obviously didn't hit sort of the thresholds you needed to hit in terms of other sort of metrics, but that's just is what it is when it comes to Jordan Wilkins. And of course we get to Josh Adams from Notre Dame. Hit all the arm length, hand size, and bench press data points he needed to hit, but did not participate in the athleticism testing. So just kind of leave him blank for now. Justin Crawford from West Virginia hit the arm length, hand size thresholds, but only had 11 on the bench, which is below the minimum threshold of 15. Had below average explosive lower body strength score, below average speed score, and did not participate in all the agility testing that he needed to do, so he did not have the best combine. Then of course you get to Justin Jackson from Northwestern. He had 30 6.25 arm length, which, as I told you before, is below the 31-inch arm length, and it's more of a minor concern, but he definitely is below that sort of threshold. 9 1/4 hand size, 13 bench, which is not where he needs to be. He needs to be more like 15. Had 48.74 explosive lower body strength score, 31.03 speed score, and 71.38 flexibility score or balance score, dynamic speed score. didn't do terrible. If you look at his numbers face value, they look really, really good. But when you take into account how big he is, his numbers aren't as impressive. Because again, a lot of these numbers is based on mass density, how big a back is, how athletic they are for their size. And Justin Jackson is not super athletic for his size. He's definitely athletic, but he's not super athletic for his size, which I think is kind of a concern with him. Then, of course, you get to Kalen Ballage from Arizona State. Hit the arm length, hand size, and bench press thresholds. Had a 71.30 explosive lower body strength score, 91.03 speed score, and 85 dynamic speed score. Pretty much hit all pro / Pro Bowl potential athleticism traits. So nothing really to complain about there with Kalen Ballage. If you think that he's all pro / Pro Bowl potential running back, he did put up the athleticism traits indicative of such a player. Of course, you get to Cameron Pettway from Auburn. Pretty much hit the arm length, hand size thresholds, and bench press. 75.68 in terms of explosive lower body strength score, 34.33 in terms of speed score. Did not participate in agility testing, so there's really not a lot I can do there with him. But did okay. Did pretty good in terms of explosive lower body strength score, but did not really do that well in terms of speed score. So we'll just have to wait for the other testing. Then, of course, you get Carrion Johnson from Auburn. Hit the arm length, hand size threshold. Did not hit the bench press threshold. Needs to hit 15. Only hit 11. I do know that he is still recovering from a shoulder injury, so maybe there's something with that there. Then, of course, he had a 90.69 explosive lower body strength score, which is at least a all-pro / Pro Bowl potential athleticism trait, and did not participate in terms of the speed or agility testing for the most part. I do think he did agility testing, but because he didn't do the 40-yard dash, I can't really do much with his agility score until the 40-yard dash information comes out. Carrion Johnson, again, hit a really good athleticism trait, but in terms of explosive lower body strength score, but missed the bench press and those other sort of things, which is a concern. Then we get to Kyle Hicks from TCU. Arm length, hand size, good. Bench press, not so good. 60.79 in terms of explosive lower body strength score. 22.47 in terms of speed score. Did not participate in the rest of the drills. Not the best day. Lavon Coleman from Washington. Arm length wise, didn't really hit the minimum, the 31-inch arm length, which is a minor concern. Hand size, good. Bench press, good. Athleticism testing, not that amazing, and did not participate in agility testing. Mark Walton from Miami. Arm length wise, didn't really hit the 31-inch place he needs to hit, which is, again, is a minor concern. But bigger concerns are things like his explosive lower body strength score and speed score, which were all below average and did not do agility testing. Then, of course, we get to Nick Baden from San Diego State, more of a fullback. Arm length, not exactly the best it needs to be. Did not participate in the bench. Did not participate in any of the other sort of athleticism testing. Then, of course, we get to Nick Chubb out of Georgia. Based on his data, arm length-wise good, hand size good, bench press good, explosive lower body strength score, speed score, and flexibility score, all aces. He's probably one of the better testing running backs at this combine. He's pretty way up there. So Chubb had a great day all around in terms of his testing. Easily the second best testing back or third best, depending on your personal preference of data. Then, of course, you get to Hines from North Carolina State. Arm lengthwise, again, minor concern, but did not hit the 31-inch area. Did not participate in the bench. But he put up a 87.47 speed score, which is all-pro / Pro Bowl potential athleticism trait. So Hines essentially has all-pro / Pro Bowl potential based on his speed score. But there are some minor concerns in terms of arm length and size and stuff like that. Then, of course, you get to Rashad Penny from San Diego State. Arm length, hand size good. Bench press, did not hit the 15 threshold. But he did put up an 89.18 speed score, which is all pro / Pro Bowl potential. So all those areas are pretty good for him. Rock Thomas, arm length, hand size, bench press good. Explosive lower body strength score, speed score, not where they need to be, and did not participate in the agility testing. So really not much else to say here. And then, of course, you get to Ronald Jones from USC. 31-inch arm length, which is good. 8 and 7.5. Which is not the best. Did not participate in the bench. Speed score was 15.77. I do understand a lot of people were saying that he was pulling up and he was injured and stuff like that, which may be the case. We'll have to wait on his speed score, I guess, because I know there's a lot of Ronald Jones fans out there. But his explosive lower body strength score was not exactly where it needed to be either, and didn't do agility testing. Then, of course, you get to Royce Freeman, probably the third to second best running back tester, depending on your preference. Hit the arm length, hand size, and bench press thresholds you need to hit, and has 3 All-Pro/Pro Bowl athleticism traits in terms of explosiveness, speed, and dynamic speed. So had a fantastic day for Royce Freeman. I'm very excited about him going forward because he did really, really well. Then, of course, you get to Ryan Nall from Oregon State. Hit the arm length, hand size, and bench press thresholds, and had at least 1 All-Pro/Pro Bowl potential athleticism trait in terms of his flexibility for his size. So very, very, very good day for him as well. And then we get to Saquon Barkley, who hit the arm length, hand size, and bench press thresholds, obviously. Put up a 99.12 explosive over body strength score and a 98.97 speed score. Did not participate in all the agility testing, so we'll have to wait on the 3 count. But definitely fantastic day. If you were just going by sheer athleticism, Barkley would be that dude. Even though he did participate in all the agility testing, just sheer athleticism, Barkley would definitely be the #1 back at the combine. And then, of course, you get to Sonny Michel from Georgia. Hit all the arm length, hand size, and bench press thresholds. Did not participate in explosive or body strength score, and did not participate in all of the agility testing that you needed to test in. Put up a 61.34 speed score. So we really do not know if he has All-Pro/Pro Bowl potential athleticism traits yet. Anyway, so we'll have to wait until the pro day, etc., to figure that stuff out. So overall, this was all of the running back combine analytics data. If there was anything that you are not familiar with, go to the description and all the sort of definitions will be there. If you have any questions about anything that I'm presenting to you today, be sure to leave a comment below. And of course, my name is James Coburn. You can find my other work at draftcoburn.wordpress.com. You can also follow me on Twitter at Geometrics. And if you like this content and you want more content like this, be sure to leave a like and subscribe. Share this video as well with anybody that you know. Hit that notification button so that you're always reminded when another video of mine drops. And I'll talk to you guys in the next video. Peace.